it's from the health industry to better living. We are going to be focusing on the China better investment and also the coordinations in these areas. By empowering through the technologies, we are going to build a global health industrial chain as well as the opportunities. First and foremost, we are going to give the floor to Madam Li Honghong to deliver the opening remarks. It's a great honor to be moderated by the session. I want to thank you all for participating in today's events. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. And it's a great honor to be here at the 4th CISCE and jointly attend the thematic event on healthy life. On behalf of CCPIT, I'd like to extend my warmest welcome to all the distinguished guests who is joining us today. I also want to thank all the speakers who actually cares for the healthy development of the purpose of the CCPIT and for the distinguished friends who cares about us. As President Xi Jinping has mentioned, maintaining global supply chain stability is going to be the major events for the health coordinations, and on the 22nd of June morning, the Vice Premier Deng Xuexiang delivers opening remarks, which is announcing that the report is entered into a high-quality opening up, and is also initiating the deepening of supply chain, industrial chain, and openness. And it's also the echoes of the world. For this year's CISCE, we have also set up the different booths, including the Novo Notice and Huarun has also organizing and participating in this event. It is demonstrating all of the key rounds for the healthcare industry. And today, we are organizing this session for the thematic events on healthy life. We are hoping that you could give us some of these business opportunities. Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, everybody enjoys life, and it's also the joint wishes for all of you, as pointed out by Xi Jinping. This is the most important index of people's life. In the past several years, the way of managing health has been changed dramatically. It needs the presentations from the markets, and firstly, there are some of the basic changes. And in the past few years, as a new medicine and new drugs usually takes 15 years from the laboratories to the markets, artificial intelligence has shrunken this period from 1.5 years to 3 years. The clinical experience has a better and higher efficacy. With the wider applications of digital technologies, it's also bringing the AI health checking and the mobile technologies. It's also enhancing the availabilities of the medical services. Second, the market is gradually shifting from the traditional markets to the emerging markets. The global healthcare industry is shifting from the larger scale into a high-quality, empowered healthcare industry. Southeast Asia, Middle East, and the Latin American markets is becoming the new injectors for the development. Thirdly, the cooperation methods is gradually shifting from the trade and the development to the healthcare industry. The healthcare industry is gradually shifting to the shares of the standards, to the deepening of the as we are seeing that there is a specific risk predictions, this is indicating once again openness and cooperation is one of the major pathways for the industrial advances. Mutual benefits and cooperation is going to be the core part of the development. For this area, I'd like to pull a few things. The first one is that in order to initiate the development, we are going to be focusing on the digital areas. It's going to be the initiations of the digital times. It's also going to be enriching the different part of the healthcare sectors. And it's also going to be benefiting the lifestyles. And second, we also need to be working on the new pathways, fully playing the leaders of the industry and the cost control. And in order to better and systematically allocate these areas, expanding the areas from the female health and accelerating the energy development while doing the global healthcare industry. And thirdly, we are going to be innovative and relying on the new method, expanding the cooperational barriers and accelerating the supply chain for the in-depth development, building the complementary advantages, and making the result of the healthcare industry to be beneficial to all the different partners. Ladies and gentlemen, CCPIT, as the biggest institutions advancing the China's investment, we are promoting the healthcare industry. We are willing to join hands with all the partners, relying on the platform of CISCE and benefiting for the general development of the healthcare industry. And finally, I wish this event a great success. And here, I want to use English to speak a few words.
In English, especially pay my special tribute and say aloha to Dr. Morrison, who actually almost 20 years ago, I joined the APLP program in East-West Center in Hawaii, and I still remember the pleasant days and the very vivid memories that brought to me where Dr. Morrison is the president of the East-West Center, and so I would like to say thank you to the program and also to the common development and the cooperation between United States and China at that period. So that I believe that with this long history and cooperation in the past, I still believe that not only U.S. and China bilateral relations will go smoothly in the future, but also we will have further cooperation with all other countries between China and outside. Thank you.
非常感谢林红红副会长的。
Thank you so much for the opening remarks of Madam Lin Huanghong. We are going to have the keynote speech sessions. First, we are going to give the floor to Ms. Ma Weixia, Director General of the Department of the Pharmaceutical on the Biological Invention Examination Patent Office, CNIPA. Respectable leaders, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Today I'm really honored to be invited to participate on the 4th CISCE and in the thematic event on the healthy life. I'd like to gather with you to discuss about the healthy development of the medicines and also for the innovative development. I'd like to speak a few words. The safeguarding of the livelihood as well as the time of the age for the intellectual properties. In the year 2016, the State Council has issued Healthy China 2030 national plans. It also came up with the idea that by the year 2030, we are going to develop a national, which is going to be reaching a higher level. And in the year 2022, the 20th CPC plenary session is building the Healthy China grant development, which is prioritizing the further development. For the recent years, China has also developing the whole life cycle healthcare. The industry is accelerating and is also becoming one of the major pillars for the industry. Innovation is one of the major core parts. Technology and intellectual property is one of the major pillars. And with the current status of the intellectual property rights is one of the major things for us to initiate the healthcare development. It's also maintaining the securities of the industry. Today, we are really honored to invite the major development trend and also the intellectual property to discuss about a few of my takeaways. The first one is that the patent and research and development and biomedicine is one of the major innovative areas for the past 10 years. The innovation is becoming ever more important, and we are leading in this field. Innovations from the healthcare industry is becoming one of the major pillars. The core technology has a better advantage with a better layout of the patent. Innovations and reshaping of the tracking is going to be powering. It's also representing the new futures of the development. So here I want to use a group of the data to show you what happened in the past 10 years. Biomedicine is becoming one of the major pillars for the R&D development. So between the year 2015 to the year 2025, it's breaking the 5 months. For the growth of every year, it's growing by 10%. At the same time, the application ratios for the patent is growing from 5,000 pieces to 10,000 pieces. And by the year 2016, it's actually growing and doubling. And in the global applications, the ratio has been growing larger, from less than 20% to more than 30%. The rise of the patent is demonstrating the innovations as well as guarantee a bunch of the intellectual properties. And for a lot of monoclonal antibodies, it is not only becoming dominating around the world, China, but also dominating around the world, which is indicating deeper integrations of the China's pharmaceutical industry. Biomanufacturing is one of the massive production methods reshaping the medical industry. In 2021, the biomedical insurances is becoming one of the major pillars for the industry. And with the supporting pillars here in this industry, it is actually one in the year 2022 with a large leapfrog, and in the year 2020 is also accounting for 2/3 of the industry.
Currently, China not only holds a patent quantity advantage in the pharmaceutical and healthcare, as well as chemical material sectors, but also made significant breakthroughs in cell-free system design and assembly, AI, and groundbreaking achievement like the synthesis of starch from carbon dioxide. And China also emerged with a number of patent achievements relying on independent and developed models. The third one is the biological testing. Is testing technology based on biological materials, biological reactions, and markers. From 2015 to 2025, the annual number of global gene testing-related patent applications showed a steady growth trend, with Chinese application contributing the vast majority, the proportion jumping from 45% to around 80%. After 2021, driven by both policies and clinical demands, such as implementation of the 15th Five-Year Plan, the promotion of the Health China initiative. The third one is the institution's support for innovation, intellectual property policies as incentives for pharmaceutical innovation. Behind the above patent data lies the 10 years preservance of China's pharmaceutical innovation entities. China National Intellectual Property Administration has always focused on the strategic deployment of Health China. And during the 14th Five-Year Plan, the key policy measures were implemented to empower the innovative development. And we established a compensation system for the duration of pharmaceutical patents to inject long-term momentum. The pharmaceutical and healthcare industry is featured with high investment, long cycles, high risks, and high returns. In 2020, during the fourth amendment of the patent law, the PTE system was introduced, which compensates for the actual patent protection period occurred by a new drug-related patents due to clinical trials and administrative approvals. As of now, the China National Intellectual Property Administration has announced a total of 29 patents for PTE, with an average compensation period of 4.2 years. This, to some extent, ensures that innovative pharmaceutical companies have a sufficient long market monopoly period. Second, we improve the protection system of traditional Chinese medicine and promote the inheritance and development of traditional medicine. TCM is a unique health resource and precious cultural treasure of China. In recent years, the CPC, Central Committee, and the State Council attach great importance to the TCM. In 2021, the outline for building a strong IP country issued by the CPC, Central Committee, State Council clearly proposed to promote the integration of TCM with a modern IP system. Our administration, closely following the need, has continually improved the patent examination system. In 2021, the new version of guidelines added a special chapter titled Several Provisions of the Examination of Invention Patent Application in the Fields of TCM. The third one, improve the rules for plant variety examination to safeguard the foundation of the seed industry and food insecurity. GM's plant resource a strategic basic resource to ensure national food security by safety and sustainable agriculture development. In September 2025, the newly revised guidelines for patent examination clearly defined plant varieties, incorporating breeding, intermediate materials, and improved resources with significant breeding and economic value into the scope of Chinese patent protection for the first time. The last one is safeguarding the future with intelligence, building a new ecosystem for IP in the health industry. 2026 marks the first year of the 15th five-year plan. Our administration will closely align with the Health China strategy and prioritize three key areas. The first one, we should improve the institutional supply in emerging fields, focusing on cutting-edge technologies such as gene editing, synthetic biology, AI-assisted drug design. Second, we should enhance the quality and efficiency of examination to meet the increasing demand for service innovation. We'll adhere to the high-quality orientation and better meet the diversified development needs of our industry. Third, we should strengthen the protection and efficient utilization of the entire chain. We should advance the special action for patent transformation and the utilization in depth, accelerate the industrialization of high-value patents. Looking ahead, IP serves as a strategic pillar for the construction of health China and a guardian of people's right to health and health. And let's let the light of patent illuminate the new journey. Thank you very much for your sharing. Now, let's invite Mr. Yin Ye, CEO of BGI Group, to share his insights. Let's welcome. Distinguished Ms. Lin, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It's my pleasure to share with you in the fourth CISCE 250 years is the history of industrialization. We see the railway, we see the train, we see a computer. We are living in this period. We could see the development of the society deeply connected with people's opportunities. And the very important part now is the biological manufacturing. I'm very proud to say in the Nature Index, Big Group ranks #1 among the bioscience industrial institutions globally and ranks the first in Asia-Pacific region for 11 consecutive years. I'm proud to say we have made large great achievement in the precise medicine. Everyone we lived, but what's the life expectancy of people? How old? I think, there's a word, the science and the technology can help you to live longer. So we have a very positive expectation for our life expectancy. We see there are 8 billion in the world, and the average life expectancy is 73 years, and China is 79.1 years. If we can avoid these 3 major health risks, then we talk about the Mersenne cancer. In America, there are 5 years living rate, 70%, and in Japan is also 70%. But that's the target is to irradiate the cancer. In Japan, there are 60% of 10 years living rate in Japan. For the health of China, this is a very classic case. We cooperated with the Harbin municipal government. We conducted the gene test covering 1.3 million people in Harbin City, and the social cost effect performance is over 1.6. And we already saved 653 people who suffered with the lung, the testing cancers. The gene test have already covered 1.3 people, and 26,166 patients have been tested. There's no tumor suddenly be discovered, but only the cancer. So we need to do the prevention and to do the test beforehand. So we need to shift from treatment-oriented to prevention-oriented. So another question, do we have the chance to terminate this disease? Let's look at this table. The disease including the heart, brain, and blood vessel. The first one with the red marks is China. That's the death rate. And the green one is for Japan. So I think you need to pay attention to your weight, to blood pressure, maybe drink more tea, less alcohol, more vinegar, less salt, more water, less oil, and take more. We can do more gyms and less sitting. So, why we said the country calls for you to lose weight last year? Because, even for the adult, the overweight accounted for 34.3% in the year 2018. And for the teenagers from 6 years to 17 years old, the rate is also increased. So is there any way we can live as long as 100 years old? I think aging is a disease can be prevented and can be treated. Look at this one. The Brian Johnson have replaced his blood, and also we use the gene editing to implant an organ. So, for example, in the future, maybe we have a conversation like that. You look very good recently, yes, because I just implanted a pig's liver. So I think that's possible in the future. Other than pig brain, I don't think you will like it. And other organs can be implanted in the future. And this is Mr. Wang Jian. He proposed that I know my gene, I know my cells, I adjust my bacterial group, and I master my sleep. I want to say there's no limitation for the life. Mr. Fan Jian, he's 72 years. He's 70 years old now, and he climbed the Himalayas when he was 56 years old, and went to North Pole when he was 61 years old. Did you climb the Xiangshan mountain recently? I think if you have the habit of doing sports, then you can keep your health. And when you are 60 years old, if you have the good habit, you will maintain a better health status than others. That's why I want to give you a suggestion to do more sports. And do you know what's the heartbeat of Mr. Wang? That's 33 to 165 pumps per minute. He's 72 years old. Is he really old? We cannot only look at the figures. From the perspective of biology, he's actually a young man. Let's look at him. He's riding the bicycle, doing sports, climbing the mountain. He's doing maintaining the extreme.
This is the high quality life of the humankind. And I think the artery for China is going to be the global health treatment centers, especially in the May 15th. We are going to see a lot of gene treatment, stem cell treatment, and also the migration treatment, which is going to come one after another. These are the FDA between China, the first stem cell drug, and in the United States it was approved in April 2014. This is one complication. And using to working against the immune response after the grafting. And 2 weeks later, there's one single drug which is listed from the United States. That is to say, to this extent, when we are going to be living to 150, the technology is going to be very, very prevalent. So compared with millions of the US dollars treating cost, I also believe that the fairness and availability is going to be guaranteeing China's competitiveness. And especially for the Belt route, I want to change the word of the longevity. It's not only long, it's also happiness. And also, as one of the major health, let's welcome the 2020 work of life and how long should we live? 120. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Yin Ye, for your kind sharing. This is also bringing us a lot of things to think about. We're going to have the thematic discussions. So today we are going to have the thematic themes, and it is actually representing the whole life cycle development, and it's also it's also including the healthcare, cosmetics, and also the development in these regions. And so it's about a brand new development. So we welcome you to come to the different booths for the exchanges. Now we are going to enter into the second session. The first session is going to be about the new concept, new technologies, leading the active healthcare together with the systematic development. Now I'm going to present to you the distinguished guest who is joining us today. We are joined by the only one, the Vice President of the GE Healthcare, Dr. Kong Jun, the General Manager of Siemens Shanghai, Vice President of Corporate Affairs and Communications, Medtronic Greater China, the President of the American Association of Elderly Care, and also Mr. Zheng Xinfeng, Chairman of Beijing CISCE City Construction and Development Co. Limited.
好，那我们现在有请各位研讨嘉宾登台。
This is my second time participating in the thematic events on the healthcare. Personally, I care about the topic, which is also a topic cares about, and with the progressing of the healthcare industry. And China is accelerating development, and for the whole life cycle. And we are going to be shifting from the treatment-centered to the patient-centered, from the active corporations to the positive treatment. And also, the medical world is going to be more like experience-driven to the digital-driven and AI-driven world. Today, we are seeing several different international panelists who is working in the multinational healthcare centers. And we are also going to be working on the frontline practices. The first question goes to Madam Wang, and this is actually the basis for the supply chain. The smoothness of the supply chain is the fundamental for the high-quality development of the healthcare industry. As GE as one of the leaders in the global innovations, we are going to be building a very healthy systems. Thank you so much for your discussions. Actually, thank you so much for your question. I think that for GE, it is an independently listed young company with a very long history. We have always been under GE Medics. And we are being listed in the 2023. Back to the 130 years history, when our first X-ray machine was introduced into China, we have always been Chinese patient-centered. And within 30 years of the development, and it's also becoming one of the major parts. Currently, we have actually fulfilled the 6 factories and 7 categories in Beijing, Shanghai, Wuxi, and also Tianjin. We also have our R&D centers. And this kind of layout is being benefited by the Chinese markets. And with better facilitations, this is also good. And in this layout, we have also completed the 4 industrial clusters. Jing-Jin-Ji region, the first industrial cluster GE has located in China. And the second is the Yangtze River. And the third one is the Chengdu and Chongqing area. And the fourth area is the Greater Bay Area of. And for these 4 industrial clusters, every year we have registered a total procurement revenue of over tens of the billions. There's over thousands of the suppliers supplying to our equipment. We are facilitating to 160 unicorn companies facing these technologies. We have entered into national stage, connecting the global resources, promoting the new chapters of the medical devices. All of it is being benefiting with the entrepreneurial environment. And within the process, and taking the Beijing, Tianjin, and Hebei region as an example, we are providing the high technological projects, including the digital results, and also the high-level development, and also the CT as a part of the precisive medicines. And for this high-end project, it is going to be continuously development, and also better serving our patients. And the next one is Dr. Kong Jun. China has a very comprehensive industrial chain, and I also believe that it is. Siemens is as a multinational equipment company. How do you define the Chinese supply chain? And what is your rule from the Chinese supply chain in your global layouts? And are there any in-depth cooperations for Siemens with the local suppliers? Thank you so much for your question. China is a very important market for Siemens. It's also a very important production basis for the Siemens. It's also a very important R&D center for Siemens. Relying on the high resiliences, we are really successfully to work in China, promote in China, and doing the R&D in China. In the past 30 years or 40 years, we have set up the 6th R&D center here in China. And for the domestically produced product, it's 75% of it is coming from China, from our R&D center. It's also benefiting the. And here I want to give you examples. In this year's CISCE, we also released the China domestically manufactured spectrum-based CT machine. And when we are designing it, it was getting the award. It has 110 millimeters super high configurations, it is also going to be beneficial for the early screening and diagnosis and checking of the cardiovascular disease. We have been researched it with the Chinese clinical data, and right now we are promoting it in the Chinese markets. We are also hoping that to be working with local suppliers. And as multinationals, and we are the first coal company and to list it in China. And 20 years ago, we are setting up the city R&D centers, and we also have the X, Y, and N1 particles. And we have a very long-term layouts. And in terms of the productions, we have several hundreds of the suppliers. And in the past 20 to 30 years, we have been working really hard to collaborating with the Chinese suppliers. And it's actually reaching over 85%. And through this kind of joint collaborations, we are trying to break on the key new part. For example, the new spare parts, including the. We are also trying to be working with the difficulties in the manufacturing and R&D designs. At the same time, we are also helping the local suppliers to be working into the international development. Thank you. And speaking of the technical innovations, we need to talk about the artificial intelligence. Madam Cao, this year for the CSICE, I know that Medtronic is demonstrating a lot of AI plus medicine results. As a global leading medical company, what is the Medtronic analytics of the artificial intelligence empowering the clinical research? Thank you so much. As you have mentioned, this year for the CSICE, we are really honored that we have been in the as we are the only medical companies participating in the AI sessions of the CISCE, demonstrating where we are in the AI development. I think we have a lot of colleagues here who actually thinks that the AI is going to be facilitating the medical world. All of you have a very good innovation, but for the Medtronic, we believe that as one of the leaders in the industry, I think that we are demonstrating our homework here. AI as assistant to the medical world is that we have a very determined result. And we have impossible triangles. So a lot of questions is actually facing the world. So how can we achieve the high quality, massive distribution, and lower cost? This is not going to be happening in the medical world. We believe artificial intelligence is going to be benefiting for the long-term development of the medical world. This is also very cool for the AI benefiting the science and innovations this year. We are bringing the new product in the AI sections. It's about how do we use AI to achieve the medical results. For one part, it's improving the quality, clinical efficacy. For the other part, it is reducing the burdens. And for example, definitely we are bringing a lot of AI-empowered technologies. One thing I want to mention, one medical devices or one result that it is attracting a lot of attention is that we have the global first, including the AI and also it's a brain pacer to treat the Alzheimer's disease, and which is being empowered by AI and human machine-brain interfaces. And after connecting with the devices, it can automatically recognize the signals. And with the changes of the patient, they are going to have some of the automatic results. Do they need the diagnosis, or how do we diagnose it, or how do we treat them? This is what we call a closed-loop management, from the recognitions to the diagnosis to the results. So with AI, we are going to be achieving the result,
which improved the accuracy of the treatment and provide tailor treatment. And the other one, we will reduce the burden of patient and the clinical treatment. We demonstrate a heart implant remote equipment because after the heart implanted, you need to go back to the hospital to examine from time to time. You need to go to, for example, to the hospital of Beijing, which the doctor have much pressure, and it takes a lot of time to re-examine the patients. So the remote diagnosis system, the patient can stay at home. The equipment can automatically analyze the status of the patient, and the doctor can decide if you need to adjust your treatment plan, if you need to go to the hospital, which will reduce the burdens of the patient, and the doctor can have more time to focus more important jobs. This reflects in the future AI medicine and the treatment, and we have high expectation for the future. And the last one, I want to emphasize that AI is doctor-assisted, not to replace the doctor. It saves the doctor's time and free the doctor from the redundant jobs, and it will improve the efficiency. That's the value. Thank you. The recognize and the treatment technology is a very good topic. And I want to talk about the Silver Age economy. I want to ask the American geriatric Charis Morrison.
Silver economy, as you know, in China, it presents a big opportunity, right? And no less the elderly care sector. And I think as a result, we've seen a lot of innovation and good products from Chinese companies. Now, they're looking outwards too. So we know you're with the AAEC. So how does the AAEC's age-friendly classification, the AFC certification, then help these Chinese manufacturers to enter and make a place for themselves in the American market?
Thank you very much, Ms. Zhao, for that question, and it really comes to one of the main efforts of the American Association for Elder Care. I have to say to begin with that, Madam Li gave me a little shout out of my organization, and it made me realize, as an educator, that was a new program when she joined it. And to see somebody 20 years later who's successful, it's one of the most rewarding things that you can have as an educator. So now I'm retired from that position, but I'm also in a kind of startup area because I joined this recently, this American Association of Elder Care. It's a fairly new organization. We're non-governmental, we're non-profit, we're professional, we're future-oriented. And we are definitely oriented toward developing standards, towards doing technical research, and promoting international cooperation. So the age-friendly certification is something that I think it's not just American and Chinese manufacturers or consumers, but it's desired to be kind of universal standards for products, services that are especially tailored toward the elderly. Now, since I'm elderly, I'm on a trip to China, and I know that the hotel that I'm going to be in has very slippery marble floors. I know if I fall on that floor, I might have a lifestyle change. And so I want some non-slippery shoes. So if I go to the store in Honolulu and I say, give me some age-friendly shoes, the salesman, has no idea, right? So I came here to China and I got these shoes. These are developed for age-friendly. They don't skid. They put your foot forward. They really help me out. And so that's the kind of thing that we need, is standards that are, because most manufacturers don't think about age. So we want to encourage thinking about And I think that helps the manufacturers. It builds trust in the system. It helps the manufacturers at the very beginning of the supply chain. It helps the companies that distribute and market it. It helps the people who, on the importing side, who work with the elderly. It helps the nursing homes, and it helps the senior citizens themselves. And so through the whole supply chain, from top to bottom, you have trust in the logo, and that it is the product is safe and age-friendly, and that trust is the key thing. And that helps manufacturers, whether China or the U.S. or globally. It helps the consumers. It helps everybody within that supply chain. So that's what we're trying to do. And you know, we're in a part of this trade fair that has all the healthcare organizations. So we look around at those health organizations and we see partners. We don't see competitors, we see partners. Because it takes all of us working together to try to figure out what the standards should be, what the best practices are, and to incorporate that in a system that everybody can recognize universally across the world and trust, and that will help. It's not just a win-win for manufacturers and consumers, but it's a win-win-win-win for everybody along that whole supply chain. Thank you.
Thank you, and I think absolutely right. I mean, if we're looking at a live 3, get 1 free approach to life and technology, then we definitely need to be future-oriented. 那郑先生，谢谢您耐心等待哈。北京怀柔科学城啊，我们。
And thank you very much for Mr. Zheng Xinfeng. I want to ask a question. In recent years, Beijing Huairou Science City has gathered a number of national-level large scientific facilities. What's the relationship between these large scientific facilities and the new technology we are talking about? And how can these facilities support the innovative development? Thank you very much. I want to give you an introduction about the Huairou Science City. It's the centralized location of the Beijing Huairou Comprehensive National Science Center. Currently, we have 33 scientific research facility platforms and 14 directly related to life science. 12 are directly related to life science. I believe that these large facilities are important carriers of new technology and reflects the new trends of modern medicine shifting from experience-driven to device-driven, data-driven, and AI-empowered. I will briefly introduce 3. The first one is the 4th-generation high-energy radiation light source. It can visualize protein structures with unprecedented precision, thereby accelerating the process of a new drug discovery. Currently, we have partnered with the Institute of High Energy Physics to establish a high-throughput small molecule drug screening platform, which has begun to provide services to the public. And I want to invite more science and technology institutions to join us. The second one is the multimodal image facility, which integrates image methods such as light, sound, electricity, and magnetism onto a single platform, achieving spatial and temporal resolutions ranging from angstroms to micrometers and from microseconds to hours. And the third one is the human organ platform, which can simulate device, prepare organs, components, and simulate physiological and pathological states, which will also be shared with the public upon completion. And relying on these facilities, we're developing an overall solution for active health and smart healthcare. These facilities are ready and are open to the world. I want to invite cooperation from major research institutions. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Zheng, for your sharing. And I want to invite Ms. Wang. Combined with your technology practice, what do you think? How can we incorporate the innovation into the supply chain and to meet the health requirement of people? Thank you for your question. We have operated in China 37 years, and China is a very important strategic market of our company, and we are deep-rooted in China, and we holding the belief that China will become the largest medical market in the future. And it will also become the source place of the global medical science and technological innovation. So based on this belief, over the past 37 years, we are committed to bring the advanced medical science and technology to China's market. For the past 2 years, with the development of China's whole medical system, the whole innovation environment, I think the strategy in China is upgrading. We call it the version 3.3. And we are shifting from the traditional innovation technology introducer to the joint builder of a localized innovation ecosystem. As you just mentioned, we want to cooperate with the local partners and introduce China's innovation to the world. That's very, very important. And we have been consistently upgrading our manufacturing bases. We have one in Shanghai, and we want to invest this production base, and through our production, we can implement the upstream and downstream of the whole supply chain in China. And I want to invite all partners in this supply chain to work together, to upgrade together. That's a very important goal. And we have been trying some new methods. For example, since last October in Beijing, the biopark in Yizhuang, we launched the first Meidunli Digitalization Innovation Center, which is the first globally. It relies on the AI of Beijing and the digitalization of Beijing, combined with the rich medical resources. We want to cooperate with the local partners and focus on the medical innovation based on AI and digitization. And the AI development is accelerating, and as the leading enterprise of global medical and science and technology, we don't want to miss this opportunity. That's why we locate the center in Beijing, and we hope we can connect all resources and to use China's innovation to lead the world. And the other one, we have a venture capital fund.
In China, for one part, we are actually think that they are very innovative. For the other part, through the Medonics and resources here in China, we could have this local company to be overseas. And also, these are our project, and these are what we are expecting in China. So finally, what we want to see here is that in China, for the current medical world, the development cannot be separated from the local corporations. and for the co-constructions. Thank you. What I want to say here is that back to Madam Qiao's empowering the doctors, these technologies. I want to ask Mr. Morrison
about a transformative technology in the senior care sector, and that's RPM, so remote patient monitoring. Could you explain to us how the safety network works and how it is game-changing for both healthcare providers and also for elders?
Well, again, thank you very much for that question, and it, again, something that we're working on. We think that elderly people like to travel, and they like to join wellness programs out in their home country or abroad, even. And some of them worry about their own health, and they're nervous about going halfway across the world. Others are totally confident of their own health, but their children worry about them. And so either way, you can have remote monitoring. So your smart watch is a remote monitoring device potentially. It measures your heart rate, it measures your blood oxygen. You can supplement that with a smart meter. And so you can measure the glucose level in the blood, other elements of your healthcare. And you should have in these portable devices a GPS system, so you know where the person is. You need SOS system, so they can, if they get into trouble, they can let you know. It's all a very good way of continually monitoring the person who wants it. And that information can be shared with the person that they want. Maybe their healthcare provider, maybe their relatives. And so let me give you, and there's kind of alert system too that we're developing. So for any patient, it's a little bit different. So you have to measure kind of the basic health standards for that person. If it's 15% more, 15% less, then the system will remind you, you have to slow down. You did too much exercise today. If it's 25% more, your heart rate or something, 25% less, then you should be checked by a healthcare professional. If it's more than that, then you go to the hospital immediately. So let me just give you an example. And this is a Mrs. Chen. Her husband died. She's a Chinese American. Her family was from Chengdu, so she herself has never seen a panda bear, so she wants to go to Chengdu. She wants to have a good time. She joins a 30-day wellness program in Chengdu. Her daughter's really worried about her, but her daughter's working full-time, so she can't go with her. So she sets up this, convinces her mother to set up this remote system, even though the mother's kind of stubborn. So the mother goes to, so they have measure her pulse and so forth, and off she goes. And in the first week, she's great. And then the daughter can tell that she's great, and there's no alerts whatsoever. Then she goes to see the panda bears at the panda bear park. She walks all over, and her heart rate goes up about 18%. And so she gets an alert and says, tomorrow you have to slow down. But as I say, she's a little bit stubborn. So she keeps on doing more every day. And finally, she triggers a Amber Alert, which means that the healthcare provider who's with the group or in Chengdu goes to see her, adjusts her medicine, gives her a little walking to, and everything goes back to normal, and she has a great time, and she goes home. So that's what the system is designed to do. And, you know, one thing that we're doing is contributing to the aging problem, because we're going to extend the life of people. And so all the statistics that say how much the aging is happening now, because of technology and because of systems like this, we're going to have even more aging than we expected. So I think it's very, very important for the future.
Yeah, technology is an enabler. 那显然这个提升全民的养老水平是一
technology is an enabler, and it cannot be separating from the national development. And Mr. Zheng, you have been talking about the infrastructures which is supporting the new technologies and new ideas in terms of these areas. So how will Beijing Huarou scientific cities allocate this kind of frontline technical innovation result and turning into something which is available for the public? Thank you so much. We are focusing on the 3 directions: the biomedicine, stem cell, and also the brain science. To introduce it very simply, in the medical equipment, we have been relying on the multiple model cross-border medical imaging, and we are promoting the wearable medical devices. And for this kind of equipment, we are promoting it, and we are actually building an medical image valleys for China in order to better promote the medical devices development. Another part is about in the healthcare, stem cells and regenerative medicines, relying on the organoids from the Chinese Academy of Science. We are being focusing on the cells, drugs, promoting the organoids treatment, and also further development. And for the third one, we in the field of the brain science and also the brain-related development, we are being relying on the diagnosis in order to, and for this part, we are promoting the brain interfaces in order to the BMI systems. Moving next is going to be relying on the big science facilities and equipment, building these basic platforms to the scientific achievements. And today we have a lot of corporations. And moving next, from the basic research to the other field, we have a lot of things to collaborating, and we are also going to be shifting more scientific results onto the laboratories and promoting the development. Thank you. Dr. Kong, I also want to talk about the green and lower carbon development. It is also one of the major trends for the global supply chains and ranks among the core systems for this year's CSICE. Medical devices features complex technologies, long life cycle, and high energy consumptions. And it's also have some of the unique challenges to their green transitions. Could you elaborate on Siemens Healthcare's innovative practices in sustainable development and green chain construction? Thank you so much for your question. The green and sustainable development is that it is in line with China's dual carbon result. And to be specifically, green and low carbon development is one of the key development trends. And in the green and sustainable chains, we have a lot of work to do. And in Shanghai spaces, we are working and green and science technologies in the operations of the factories. We have been relying on the reuse of the sustainable energies as well as the smart management systems. For all of these equipment, it's helping our factories to be operated. Compared with the year 2019, there's a 40% lower. So this is also becoming the dominating branch of the China's medical devices world, as well as the green supply chain result. At the same time, we are also hoping to introducing more green technologies in our project, as we have introduced you the Spectrum CT. It is the applications of the new materials which is going to be lowering down for the results, while remaining at the same levels of the X-ray treatment. So for the X-ray treatment, might be causing some of the effects for the patient, and it's also expanding the auto CTs and also its usage in the children's. And I think with the benefits of the technologies, it's going to improve the green development of our product and lower down the consumption here. Up until now, in the current medical devices industry, we are encountering a lot of questions. And so in the recent few years, together with our nation, we have been working together with the national medical devices. And for a few years, with the medical devices industry and the CMEMF, we officially launched the first benches of the medical devices environmental product, which is providing the green product for the medical world, and is also filling the gaps here. We are initiating a new stage for the chapter. And in these areas, for the green and sustainable development, one of the major topics we are discussing here is the green industrial chains. Together with the suppliers, we are launching a very closing cooperations. For example, we are covering for 80% of the carbon emissions, and 80% of them has fulfilled the carbon emissions. And actually 60% of it is having a very clear energy conservation and pathways. From these practices, we are exploring the green and sustainable development, and we want to bring it to our suppliers. At the same time, we are hoping that we could be beneficial for the green and lower carbon development. Thank you. Madam Wang. You've been talking about the chain building services as the foundations, while the chain strengthening and the chain extensions are critical for the supply chains to evolve continuously and unlock greater values. Could you further share GE Healthcare's specific innovation practice and strategic layouts regarding chain strengthening and chain extensions? For our company, technical innovation and green innovations is our general promoters. In Tianjin GT, we have the best PET MR. In Beijing and Tianjin and regions, we have the most quantumly developed CTs, and this is also related to the precise medicines at the same time. In the different clusters, we can providing for the suppliers, and this is actually demonstrating our core capacities. This is what we call the technologies. Talking about the green development, at the beginning of this year, for our Beijing centers, it is renowned by the MIT as the first bench of the green factories. This is not a very easy name in the medical world. For all the cities that we manufactured, we have gathered in our production lines. There is actually over 95% for the regenerative materials. For the past 3 years, there is a 27% decreases of the greenhouse gas. Last year, in our Tianjin basis, we are the first of the branches getting the around the world. This is actually first branches in Beijing, Tianjin, and Hebei region, which is bringing us a set of the green circulations, which is innovating. And up until now, the order has surpassing, and it's coming one after another. So the traditional Chinese supply chain is gradually being increased from the platforms and better serving the global supply chains. Talking about the procedures, we have introduced you the GE supply chains, and we are going to be focusing on the GE supply chain as our major examples. So the right thing we have done is that we are going to be gathering our industrial technologies for the innovations. Today, we are starting this Expo Beijing and in Beijing and Tianjin and Hebei regions.
But we all know we have the rich resources of China. Taking the advantages of the rich resources, we upgrade and make the technological innovation. Take the Tianjin base as an example. We shift from the production center to the production, innovation, and service combination center. In 2024, we became the magnet headquarters, and the company promised we 5.5 billion in 5 years. This is a very important milestone. And we launched the R&D center here. This is the unique and the only systematic R&D center besides America. And this is the most advanced R&D center, which allow us to keep synergy with the world, so we can explore the cutting-edge technologies, provide advanced products, and provide the best service to the patients in China, and we link with the resources in the world. Thank you for your insight. We see the high technologies are reshaping the society, and the new concept lead the upgrading of technology of the industry. Thank you for introduction. We know more about the new technologies and give us more confidence for the future. Thank you very much. Here ends the first session. Please be seated, and we'll move to the session 2. I will give you a general introduction about the thematic discussion 2. The theme is empowering the healthy life scenario, upgrading and the high-quality industrial development with a new consumption. With the upgrading of the consumption, we have a shift from the purchasing to the multi-diversities, the scenarios. We attach more importance to the quality of the products and the concept conveyed by the product. So the theme will be empowering health science scenario, upgrading and high-quality industrial development with consumption. We'll focus on health, life, and supply chain innovation under the waves of new consumption. We invite 5 guests from the beauty of the cosmetics, pharmaceuticals, health management, pharmaceutical distribution, and the lifestyle brands. And we'll invite them to share their opinions. The guests for the panel, Mr. Sasha Samichuk, Vice President of Marketing Novo Nordisk Greater China, Ms. Wang Yun, the General Manager of Generic Health Management Technology, Mr. Anthony Palo, the Senior Vice President of L'Oreal Operational North Asia and China, Mr. Guan Ziqi, Deputy General Manager of China Resource Pharmaceutical, and Liao Meiling, Senior Vice President of Pure Cotton. Thank you very much for your participating. The first question will be Mr. Sasha.
So people are, as we heard and we know, they're increasingly prioritizing their health, right? And it's no longer just about seeking treatment when it's necessary, but about a proactive, overall preventative health management. How do you think this new consumption trend, as our theme is changing the healthcare industry's development and driving innovation?
Yeah, thank you for your question. And maybe first of all, a huge thank you to Chairman Lin and the committee here for CISCE. This is my second CISCE. Actually, I joined last year, and I think it's a very unique platform for China to bring together companies from very, very different industries. And this panel, I think, is a great example, right? People with very, very different perspectives. Regarding patients and empowerment, I personally think it's an extremely exciting time for patients. It's a huge change. I've been working in the health industry for over 20 years. And you know, when I started, it was very difficult for patients to get information and very difficult for patients to build communities. And for those of you that are not familiar with our company, Novo Nordisk, it's a Danish pharmaceutical company, and we specialize only in chronic diseases. But we also work with very different patients in chronic diseases. So we work with the biggest chronic disease, which is obesity. Unfortunately, half of Chinese adults are either overweight or obesity today. So it's a huge incidence, huge population of people, but one also where people feel a lot of embarrassment, actually, to go see a doctor, to go look and get information. And we also work in rare diseases. And one rare disease area that we work in is hemophilia. So that's bleeding disorders. That's people that are born with an inability for their blood to coagulate and stop bleeding. And I can say from having worked with both of those very different groups of patients, it's very scary. You're looking to build a community, see people that are similar to you and experiencing the same challenges that you are. And with a lot of the platforms and tools that we have today, they can form those communities and they can inform themselves. And China is really a leader. Because if you look at platforms like Xiaohongshu, Douyin, those are opportunities for patients to create communities of people that look like them. And you can imagine if somebody has a bleeding disorder, to go out and find people that are struggling with the same condition that they are, it can be super, super empowering, right? In order not only to understand your condition, but also emotionally to spend time online with somebody that's going through the similar condition. And then even when we look at Doubao, Afu, for people with obesity, they're embarrassed actually to go to a doctor very often and say, you know, I'm struggling with my weight. I don't know how to fix it. It's been many, many years since I've done it. Do I need medicine? Do I not need medicine? It can be a very tough conversation. And actually with AI today, they can ask a lot of questions that they're maybe very embarrassed to ask a doctor, to ask a friend, to ask a colleague. So overall, I think it's a very, very exciting movement because it means that patients are empowered more to go out and find information themselves, to find communities themselves. But it's also something that, especially as our company, that we're really in the middle of it, with obesity really taking a lot of spotlight across the world, that we take with a lot of responsibility, because it's also extremely important that that information that they get, whether it's within a chat group in a community or whether it's an AI, that they're getting the right information. And there's a huge amount of incorrect information online today. So it's super exciting. I think it's a really exciting era. Chance for patients to empower themselves, but it also comes with a lot of responsibility for us to make sure that that information is the right information.
Absolutely empowering in terms of information gathering, but also it's the emotional support, the empathy that they're finding online as well. Thank you very much. 那王女士，我们想请您跟我们聊一下这个作为央企的国家队哈，通用技术监管公司是如何去？
Okay, another question for Wang Yun, General Technology. With the deepening of the Health China strategy, the health consumption is transitioning from singular focus on treating existing illness to health management. Thank you very much for your...
The product, including the quality of the experiences that we are providing on market. So we have great ideas, but actually we have Chinese vendors, Chinese partners, which have fantastic ideas. And we want to partner that and to play a role as a leader. On the manufacturing side, and that's a very important one, talking about the highest quality standard or product, every single product is going through more than 100 quality checks along the chain. From the time it's been produced, from the time it's been filled, from the time it's been packed, and the time it's been delivered to the consumer. This is, and we were talking about that before, a question of trust. We need to ensure the total visibility, the total traceability of this supply chain, because at the end, it's a product that a consumer will apply on his skin, on his hair care. This is a non-negotiable value for L'Oréal. Again, it's 100 million, it's more than 100 million consumers in China. This is our second biggest market for Olaya. We are committed to remain the beauty leader, and being a beauty leader is starting with a supply chain that will be responsible, driven by human, smarter, and green. That's really what I believe.
Thank you very much. 那接下来管先生，我们想请您分享一下这个华润医药在
Mr. Guan, we want to kindly invite you to share with us the China Resources Pharmaceutical consumer commercial groups. So what is the experience that the Chinese consumers really demand and really want it. And thank you so much for, on behalf of the China Resources, it's really a great opportunity to share with you. As a major part working in the health living and supply chain sectors, we have always been working in the supply chain, and we have over 76 years in these areas. And we also have the over 435 countries. And actually, we also have the provincial level warehouses, and this kind of warehouses is supplying the urgent need from the markets. So I'd like to report to you that from the total drugs and the total medicines under our management is registered at 200 billion RMB's values. We are connecting the upper stream pharmaceutical manufacturers together with the lower stream vendors, or what we call the and we actually also covers for around 10,000 level 3 and level 2 hospitals, and we also covers for 140,000 clinics across the countries. We are connecting the upper stream with the lower streams and becoming the supply chains, and we are providing the whole life cycles services from the customer clearances, transportation, logistics, and finally in the payment. I hope that this is going to be benefiting for the public. We are going to provide them constantly good quality medicines. This is so here is a small advertisement for my company. So let's talk about the 3 keywords of the moderators you mentioned about how do we do a better supply chain. We used to be product-centered, and for the supply chain, it's always product-centered. Right now, it's more like the customer-centered. And it can be, we have several scenarios. The first one is that for the supply chain across the country, we have for around 206 warehouses. And we covered every single major cities, and also from Shenyang, Beijing, Changsha, to the eastern part of China, southern part of China, we have the warehouses is actually scattered everywhere. This professional logistic network is going to deliver the medicines to the final end. For example, Beijing in Maliandao, and which is near the Beijing West railway stations. Within 2 hours, we can deliver the medicine to any single hospital in the city. So if there is a demand from the hospital, for example, there are very special, urgently need medicines. We are trying to use the drones to deliver it to the hospital. And in the Jiangsu, we are still trying to, because there are some of the urgent demand. The other part we want to talk about is the scenarios, especially for the innovative drugs, what we call the special drugs. It's very expensive. So we are trying to that not only that we are guaranteeing the supply to the grassroots hospitals, we are also extending to the e-commerce platforms for these kind of special drugs, including monoclonal antibodies. We are working together with the NMPA, the surety department, and we are trying to use the leverage method to lower down the cost. And in last year, we are connecting to 1,500, over 200 different types of these innovative drugs. And from the economic perspectives, we are trying to lower down the logistic cost in order to benefit the patient. Definitely, this is what we should do. And thirdly, what we are here is talking about the experience. Let's talk about the oncological patient. After their surgery, they might be feeling that very weak. After they come back to home, their pain started as a very long-term procedures. And so we are guaranteeing that from the patient's perspectives, we are providing the whole processing. Patient management. For example, after the patient taking the medicines, what is the patient's recovery ratios? What is going to be the relapsing ratios? We are providing one-stop, patient-dominated closed-loop services. Not only in the chronic medicines, we are also extending the life cycles of the patient. This is what we are doing here. Not only delivering the product, but also delivering the services. We are going to be patient-centered in order to help the public better get the medicines quicker and better with a lower cost. So this is what I want to share with you here. Thank you so much. The consumers' understanding to the healthy life is not only the healthy bodies, it's also their mental health and physical health. Madam Liu, thank you so much for your patience. We are knowing that you are a brand not only focusing on the nursery sectors. Could you share with us that you undertaking is all about the product? How will you satisfy the patient, the consumers? Thank you. Actually, as you mentioned from your insights, the consumers is not only cares about the physical health, they are actually cares about the physical conditions, mental well-being, and the living environment. As we all know that the per carton is actually starting our development from the we are starting our general development from the face washing tissues. So after you wash yes, I'm using it. Oh, that's great. So how do we do a good job here? So we are basically using the 100% cotton and bring it to our consumers. Actually, we are successfully extending our categories from the face washing tissues to all kinds of the 100% pure cotton items. For example, if you entered your homes, we want to give the comfort lifestyles to the customers. Actually, at the very beginning, we started from the medical tissues, and right now we are actually entered into the new areas, and we are actually using the whole cottons to making the blanket, to making the towels, and also the washing towels. And just as Madam Wang mentioned, we are working as all the ladies are working from their workplace. After one day of the long and treacherous works, they need a good sleep to recover their energies. We want to bring them the best way of relaxations. We are using these brand new materials for the 100% cottons. And with these new materials and with the coverings of this blanket, it is going to help our patient to fall asleep quicker, and this is also going to relax them. And a good sleep is definitely what the wish is for a lot of consumers, because here in China, actually around 3 million consumers suffered from these sleeping disorders. And we are hoping that the 100% cotton product could bring them a very good experience. The second scenario is about the transportations. I think all of you are sitting here is, you travel a lot. Every time when you are traveling, that the most difficult part is to wash your underpants or wash you. So how can we shrink the cases for the travelers and even if you are traveling outside of the homes, we can actually producing some of the compressed towers. And with these compressed towers, with the dip of the water, it is going to make you feel at home. The third targeted consumer group is those of the people who is in the sports, who do the sports a lot. We have also developed some of these 100% cotton materials with the quick dry technologies. So even if after the spots, your clothes is going to be dry very quickly. So based on the product, we are actually bringing the clean and health product to. We are starting from the maternity and the infant sectors, but we are thinking that the one flower of the cottons could enter into the more scenarios in our daily life, to every single corners of your homes. We are not only choosing the natural cotton materials, we are also choosing the comfortable materials. And I know that this year, a lot of scientists is predicting that it is going to be the hottest year in the histories. The Super Nino is changing the weather patterns across the world. There are some of the extreme weather events occurred everywhere.
1公斤的棉花在生长过程当中的话，能够吸收3.15公斤的二氧化碳。其实是可以吸收二氧化碳这种温室气体，能够帮助地球降温的。所以，其实大家在选择全棉的生活方式、全棉的产品的时候，你不仅在选择一种健康的生活方式，同时您也在选择一种环保的生活方式，因为能够帮助这个地球降温。越来越多的人使用棉的产品，减少化纤的使用，就能够减少这个碳排放，同时也在为这个地球减负。所以也非常感谢我想我们在座一定有非常多全棉时代的这个用户，包括像这个主持人，然后还有很多的我们的这个来宾都是我们全棉时代的这个用户，也再次感谢大家，谢谢你们选择一个健康又舒适又环保的生活方式。
谢谢，也学到了。Mr. Pu, so L'Oreal is showcasing a lot of AI application achievements, at the Expo. The theme is beauty powered by AI. So, how do you think AI is currently transforming the supply chain and empowering the beauty industry? And ultimately, then how does this shape consumers' experiences of a healthy lifestyle?
What's happening is fascinating. It's going extremely fast. I think it's even more fascinating because we are in China, and I believe China will be at the heart of this AI revolution, which has already started. If you look at the supply chain on our main topic, it will be indeed powered by our teams, powered by the human, but deeply augmented by AI capabilities. I was talking to you previously about more than 100 million consumers that we have to serve in China. Applying the same high-level quality standard for 10 products, and I told you we have roughly 100 touch points on quality before serving a product. If we want to do it in the same level of quality for 10 products and for 1 million products, this is where basically AI can come with additional capabilities for you to continue to augment your quality standard, whatever the growth is happening, and we are lucky. The beauty market is doing well in China, so this is a commitment that we have to take for the future. There's no way we are impacting the level of quality that we are providing to our consumer. Just to give you a concrete picture, in the way we are unlocking AI at L'Oréal, we have 3 different streams. The first one, and you said it, is AI for our consumers. In the way you're going to search for your product, in the way you're going to find the right product supported by an AI if you have a certain skin conditions. This is where you can really make sure, using the right AI, that you have the right proposal for the right product, which is exactly what you're looking for. Most of the APP, e-commerce APP that you are using are already embedded within AI. We need to make sure that we are supporting those AI to be smart, having the right product proposal. This is on the consumer point of view. We have also another stream which we call the AI for the different métiers. Supply chain, research and innovation. So all the métiers have a specific roadmap to make sure that we are going to embody AI as early as we can. If I'm taking the example for research and innovation, they've already started to embark on AI for deeper testing to make sure that, coming back on our initial topic, the quality, the safety of the formula that we are providing for our consumers in China are at the highest level. And there is one which is AI for employee. All employees at L'Oréal are trained with AI. This is every day using. We have a L'Oréal Olaya ChatGPT. We are using every day to get fast information, to get fast connection, to get fast diagnostic, and faster the decision we are taking. Coming back on the supply chain point of view, let me give you a couple of examples. If you have visited our booth, if not, I'm inviting you to do that. You will see that we have a smart packaging creative house for which the purpose is to continuously create new products, design new products, playing with colors, finishing, material, without limit. And this will help us to accelerate from weeks to a couple of days the creation of a new product and make sure that we can deliver what's right, relevant for our Chinese consumer in the market. We have also, and I told you in our plant, in our manufacturing capabilities, we have 2 plants in China. One of them in Suzhou is the biggest plant in the world for L'Oréal. We are talking serious business here, and basically, coming back on my point, making sure that this plant in Suzhou, and we have another one in Yichang, but to make sure that both of those plants are providing the highest quality standard in every product we manufacture and we send to our consumer, AI will help us to augment the opportunity of doing a unit quality check before it's going to consumer. On a pure supply chain point of view, AI has been already a journey that we've started. China is a complex market. Chinese consumers are purchasing anytime, anywhere, whatever product. We have already embodied a smart forecasting tool where the demand, where consumer will purchase. So we have embodied already AI smart marketing tool and inventory deployment. So we can make sure that our inventory are deployed, supported by the AI in the right city in China, making sure that we continuously provide the right quality of service and the right delivery time to all our consumers. The last point I want to tell you about that is, indeed, we are moving at L'Oréal. We are very smart people working at that, but on our own, we'll do nothing. So we have a program at L'Oréal that we name Big Bang, which is basically a way for us to continuously be connected with all the new tech AI startup in China. And we are co-working, we are co-developing, because they are very smart and because we have needs. We are working together to make sure that for a specific need, we are connected to the right Chinese startup, Chinese vendor to create the AI solution for the future. This is a program which is fascinating. We are connecting with a very smart Chinese entrepreneur, and we have already very concrete applications that are running in our business, driven by China ecosystem. And at later stage, most probably that will be China for China, but China for the world. So we are piloting that in China, and this is where our supply chain in China is strategic for the group.
Thank you. Certainly, smart technology and smart people, making improvements in quality to products. Mr. Semyenchuk, you were also earlier saying how this technology is helping to empower patients, right? But this patient empowerment and the changes that that's bringing, can you tell us how the pharma industry can actively adapt to this?
Yeah, thank you for the question. I think AI is disrupting everything, right? When it comes to drug development, when it comes to supply chain. So it's always interesting to hear across different industry how it impacts. So as I said before, I'll speak specifically from a chronic disease standpoint because that's our specialty as a company. Chronic diseases are very different. So with most diseases, you treat them maybe one day out of the year, or one day out of the month, one day out of the year, maybe once out of 10 years. But for chronic diseases, it's something that patients struggle with every day. So it's something you need to manage not only every day, but actually 24 hours a day, first of all. And second of all, statistically, 20 to 30% of the people in this room have a chronic disease. And if they don't, then they have a family member that does. And that chronic disease is very, very specific to that individual. So if you're young, if you're elderly, your ethnic background, what you eat every day, very, very personalized. So more and more as a company, we're a pharmaceutical company. I mean, we're a 103-year-old pharmaceutical company, but we're also very unique in the fact that we only work in chronic diseases. So we see our expertise as not only just being the product, but actually also what we can do beyond the product. And chronic diseases will never be managed just by a product, for all the reasons that I said just before, because you have to manage it every day. It has to do with your lifestyle. It has to do with your family, what you eat, how you live every single day. So more and more what we're trying to do is go out, meet patients where they are. So patient support platforms that patients can use every day. And we have a platform here in China. It's called NovoCare, and there's millions of Chinese patients that use it every year, that we hope that we can support them, as I said, beyond the product and their everyday. And then on top of that, the personalization of care is very, very important. So diabetes, as an example, is a disease where, as I said, based on your ethnicity, your age, your lifestyle, and actually what we'll eat or not eat after lunch, after this session, your insulin management will be completely different from somebody else. So more and more we want to go out and meet patients every day, but also meet patients and personalize care for them. And AI is also a tool we're starting to use very heavily in order to do that personalization for everybody and every patient.
I think you absolutely hit the nail on the head. That's the personalized approach, isn't it? 就是在座的各位嘉宾
Thank you very much. I think all the panelists today, they share their understanding about the quality and the shifting of healthcare. And for Mr. Wang, I want to ask a question. Do you have any technical methods to upgrade the consumption? Thank you very much. My answer is in the name, the General Tech Management Technology Company, with also for the big data. So how to answer your question? We have two formulations. The first one is online and offline, the data platform and the offline service combination. The second is the hard technology and the soft power. Response to Mr. Liang, your honest client through all scenarios, and many companies here are our cooperative partners. How to provide the soft service behind this hard technology? We are actually more focused on the workplace scenario. And back to your question, we provide the service for the workplace population. We focus on providing and applying the advanced technologies to the detection of the workplace population. We use the most advanced technology and the equipment and to provide more accurate test and prevention. For example, we use the homemade Wuyang 512 technology and equipment to apply the testing technology together with the green environmental friendly method to serve the workplace population. And the second one is very important to build an online platform, because we are doing what we are doing now depend on the platform's support, depend on the platform targeted at the workplace population. We have the online platform. We provide the group data analysis and make the files to give them a well-established and whole processed information data. Combined with our service, we provide the online and offline whole process service. And our company is also a big data group, is also a leading and a national trusted big data construction unit. It's also a supply chain unit empowered by the rise by the China's government. What we are doing next is to apply the big data into the whole process of the health management. Thank you. Mr. Guan, another question for the high-quality development, which is a keyword for the CISCE this year. Huarun have what kind of plan in the future development? The high-quality development and the new quality driving force are the priorities for the past 3 years. We think about how to improve the high-quality development.
So back to our major part, and in the supply side, and across the countries, we have the major blood vessels for the supply chains. 70 to 80% of our logistic is being dominated here. We are using the new technologies, just as we have introduced you some are different scenarios, and from the procurement. We are using the successful experience of AI to predict the reasonable warehouses. And in terms of the different technologies, we can feel the values brought by the large language models. And to some extent, we also get a very good result. And it's actually approaching a double-digit decreases. And in terms of the warehouses, and we also have some of these vertical robots and also the smart warehouses. And this kind of technology is going to be better facilitating our blood screenings and also saving the blood using per unit, and it's also improving the result by 2 to 3 times. We can feel the technology empowers the industry. We are not only going to use the previous part to we are actually going to use the new technologies, and as we mentioned about the green and the development as one of the major areas, and we are working together with the AZ, and as one of the permanent members in the past 2 years, we have been working together with the upper stream and the lower streams. And so this is actually a net zero transition. So I'm not going to be eliminated here to wrap it up. And from different part of the industrial chains, and it's also going to be. So because what belongs to them is what belongs to others. We are the same carbon emitters. And the second point is that I want to talk about the technical innovations. And as Mr. Wang has mentioned, the online and the offline development, we are actually actively exploring the online and the offline. It's more like the 2B part. And also for our e-commerce platforms, we are extending the scenarios to the markets for the grassroots and remote grassroots hospitals and clinics, we need to put more emphasis on it. And generally speaking, for the Shanxi, Gansu, and Qinghai provinces in China, which is the poor and less developed areas, we are going to supply them with more medicines in order to address the issues. And finally, I want to make a commitment here. As I always been, China Resources, like the GE, is building a whole industrial chain, supply chains, and supported by the technologies. We are going to build a resilient supply chain and facilitating the quality improvements of our industry and contributing to the Healthy China 2030 China Resources. On behalf of Mr. Wang, I'd like to make some commitment here. Madam Liang, the final question goes to you. We talk about the high quality, healthy lifestyles. It is the pursuit of the qualities. And also the you have shared us that the pearl cotton delivers a very small raw cottons into the soft, comfortable all cotton product from the consumers. How will you leverage the collaborations across the upstream and downstream supply chain to do it? Thank you so much for your question. Turning the raw cotton into the soft, comfortable all cotton materials for the customers is what we have been managed for many years. It's not a single point capacity, it's a whole industrial chain capacities. For the cotton industry or for the pearl cotton, we think there are several different key parts. The first one is that for the raw materials, the quality controls, and for all the qualities, it's coming from the raw materials. And for the consumers, if they are going to do a good, if as a manufacturer, we need to do a very good control of the raw materials from the cotton. We started from the cultivations of the cotton species, and we are working together with the Chinese University of Agriculture to form the cotton researching institutions in order to cultivate better cotton seed. And we have one cotton seed which is called 135, which is called the class 1 cotton, with a fiber length of 38 millimeter. So for this long strength cotton, it is going to be there's less and less. So we are using the high-class cottons to be making sure that our raw material is of a high quality. Second, we are also going to strengthen the animation as well as the fabric designs. There's a lot of advantages for the cottons, but the cottons also have a lot of disadvantages. For example, for the panel product, you are going to see some of the wrinkles in the cotton product. So how can we avoid? So we are actually making a lot of new cotton technologies, avoiding and satisfying the cottons to the consumer's demand. The final part is for the whole life cycle production chain management. If a company can manage their quality, quality systems is very easy. But if they could do a good job of quality management in their day-to-day production, it's also very difficult. In our upper streams and also for the lower streams, we need to coordinate and help the users to build quality management systems. We are going to use the digitalizations and AI to empower and help over hundreds of the suppliers to improve their result. And we also have actually a real-time following of the product and like a traceability report of the product. And the final part is that for the industrial chain, it's more like the production, sales, and usage. We have over 70 million members registered at our product. They are not only the users of our product, they are also one of the major customers who is providing the feedback to our product. So internally, we have VOC systems. Every year, we have over 60 million consumers, and to some extent, every single month, from the CEOs to the consumers, we are going to open up one meeting, which is what we call the customer-supported result, and also summarizing the result in order to better help with the whole supply chains. For example, for one product, if the product's feedback increases from 1 in 1,000, it is going to be one of the major sectors, major problems. We then need to improve its qualities. So in terms of the pearl cotton, there is a brand new innovation, which is what we call, that is to say, we need to listen to the brand's call and actively calling for the evaluations of the result and further improve the consumers. Actually, for the high-quality development, as well as the whole industrial chain development, we think that for each one of the players in the industry, we need to have a high-quality development. And definitely, we are going to continue our services for the end users, as well as create the product which is going to be satisfying the result of the product. Thank you so much, madam. I want to thank all our panelists. Thank you for your wisdom that you have been sharing. As a consumer, this brings me something to think about. So we are going to wrap up the panel discussion too. Thank you so much for joining us today. And finally, I want to say to the speakers, and thank you for your exciting speeches. And today's event is about the science and technologies, and also the healthcare. It's about the experts and panelists who is actually demonstrating the frontline flashes and also deepen the cooperations for the international. And also on behalf of all the speakers, and I kindly invite all of you to come to the booths of the CISCE to visit and feel the innovation. And also, thank you. That wraps up the fourth thematic event on healthy life. We are going to have the national meetings for the International Chamber of Commerce, and for the International Chamber of Commerce as the major organizer for this event. They are also been launching as a company and also improving their services. In order to advancing their consumer services, we are actually bringing the digital undertakers, and actually for the QR code which is demonstrating here, you are going to see the business opportunities as well as the facilitations and also guiding with the good resources. We welcome you to screen the QR code. We want to thank you once again to come to today's event. We want to thank the CSICE's official partners, Chinese ICBC, ABC, PICC, and also Transportation Bank of China, and also for your great support. I wish you a healthy work and a healthy stay here in Beijing.